Last video, we explained why bat viruses spill into humans. Now here is the scary side of Nipah virus. It can start like a normal fever, then within days it can attack lungs and the brain. There are no widely available cure and no licensed vaccine in most places. And what makes Nipah scary is not only what it does inside the body, but how it can show up suddenly, disappear, and return. Nipah virus is a zoonotic virus, meaning it jumps from animals to humans. Its natural reservoir is fruit bats, also called flying foxes. And here's the scary part. Bats don't need to be everywhere for Nipah to be a threat. They just need to overlap with people's food, farms, and daily routines, even briefly. Nipah is deadly because it fights a two-front war inside your body, the brain and the lungs. Nipah can cause severe encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain, leading to confusion, seizures, and coma. It can also trigger serious respiratory disease, making patients more contagious and harder to treat. But why can it hit so many organs? Because Nipah uses entry receptors called ephrin B2 and ephrin B3, which are found in key tissues, blood vessel lining, endothelium, neurons, and respiratory epithelium. That gives it access to the body's most critical systems. And once it gets in, evidence from research shows it can disrupt immune defenses, like interferon responses, helping it replicate quickly while blood vessels and organs take the hit. Multi-organ attack, brain inflammation plus respiratory failure. Nipah doesn't spread like measles. It spreads like a trap laid across everyday life through 3 repeating steps. Spillover. Virus leaves bats and contaminates something humans touch or eat. Amplifier. Sometimes an intermediate animal, like pigs, multiplies it. Caregiving spread. Close contact in families or hospitals lets it move person to person. The first major recognized outbreak was in Malaysia, 1998 to 1999. Investigations showed bats likely infected pigs, and pigs then spread it efficiently, especially in dense farming conditions, before it reached humans who worked closely with them. This is what epidemiologists fear most, an amplifier animal that turns a rare spillover into a large outbreak. In Bangladesh, outbreaks are often linked to raw date palm sap, collected overnight, when bats can contaminate the stream or the collection pot with saliva or urine. Public health teams have worked for years on prevention, but consumption can persist because it's traditional, seasonal, and widely available. WHO's recent outbreak reporting also notes Bangladesh's yearly counts have often remained low in recent years, yet the virus still returns. That's the nightmare pattern. Small sparks, repeated often. Even a small Nipah outbreak can be brutally hard to contain. Here's why. The reservoir can't be removed. Fruit bats are widespread and protected in many ecosystems, and they don't get sick in an obvious way. It hides in normal life. The risk isn't always exotic wildlife handling. It can be food and farming, fruit, sap, domestic animals, and the edges where humans and bats overlap. Incubation can complicate tracing. Symptoms often appear about 4 to 14 days after exposure, but guidance notes incubation can sometimes be longer, making who infected whom harder to map quickly. Person-to-person spread is selective but dangerous. Many outbreaks don't explode globally because transmission isn't consistently high. But when patients have strong respiratory symptoms, spread becomes more likely, especially in close caregiving and healthcare settings. Also, there's no universally available licensed vaccine, and care is often supportive, meaning isolation, PPE, and rapid detection become the main weapons. Here's the hopeful part. Vaccine development has accelerated. In late 2025, the University of Oxford and partners launched what they describe as the world's first phase 2 Nipah vaccine trial in Bangladesh for ChAdOx1 Nipah B, aiming to test safety and immune response in a region with recurring risk. CEPI has also described building an investigational reserve, so doses could potentially be deployed rapidly during a future outbreak under emergency frameworks. But until vaccines and treatments are broadly available, controlling Nipah still depends on fast public health action. If you live in or travel to regions with known risk, prevention is about reducing exposure pathways. Avoid raw date palm sap where outbreaks occur, and wash and peel fruit. Avoid fruit that looks partially eaten or contaminated. In healthcare and caregiving, strict PPE and hygiene around respiratory secretions matters, because that's where person-to-person spread can happen. Nipah is deadly not because it spreads everywhere all the time, but because when it does spill over, it can hit the brain and lungs fast, and containment becomes a race against invisible transmission routes. Question for you. Do you think the biggest future risk is bat-to-human spillover, or a change that makes human-to-human spread easier? Drop your take in the comments, and if you want more outbreak breakdowns like this, subscribe to Discovery Hunter.